Hello friends, it's finally the end of the winter. As you can see, I'm not wearing so much clothes anymore. So I thought it's a really good time to tell you about just how dangerous, bad and terrible and awful really Canadian winter is. By the way, this is like my hometown. So the winter is now going to close in my hometown. It's not the same for all of Canada. So I'm in the center of the continental Canada, right in the middle, in between. So the thing is, I'm in South Canada, right? From the height. So if you go farther up north, they will still have winter, maybe for I don't know, 1 month, 2 months. I think, yeah, 1 month at least. So in the north, there's still everything frozen. If you go to the far north of Canada, they have summer and summer is like with spring together, maybe for 3 months in total. That's it. Like that's it. So like you have to figure that out and better before you're coming here. So the reason I'm mentioning this is because winter is one of the reasons why people are leaving Canada or going back from their own country, because the problem is people underestimate how cold it is, how long the winter is. Or you're thinking, well, it's worth the opportunities that I'm receiving. The problem is it doesn't turn out for everyone this way. So winter is long, winter is really freezingly cold, and the combination of it is just so harsh on you, on your body, and like for your whole family. There are 1,000 things you have to get really to understand. Like it starts in the morning, you're getting up, it's cold, and if you use more heating, it costs way more money, right? So then you're getting up, you need to get prepared, you need to get your car started. Has it been plugged in? And get the car started for 10-20 minutes to get it warmed up. Then get all the clothes that you have, like the proper clothing. And that depends on your job, right? If you are working outside, it's a whole different story. Like my dad worked in construction, and he had to have like a lot of clothing, and they have to take breaks in between if it gets too cold. And if it gets like suddenly like -40 or so, it has to be stopped. They're getting into the building or somewhere to cover half an hour and so on. And if it doesn't improve, they are sent home. But it depends on the job. Some jobs, there is no sending home. Like if you work in oil and gas, they just continue working. So and the thing is, like for oil and gas, so for the drilling, if they need to find a new source for oil, and they do this like in my home province here, they have to do it in winter, because the thing is, in summer the ground is way too then wet in those areas, and then they can't properly drill and everything. The whole equipment, it gets like a huge quagmire, so nothing gets through. So they have to work in winter time all the time. So for these kinds of jobs, when you're like thinking, hey, I go to Canada, work in, let's say, Alberta or Saskatchewan here, and the oil and gas sector, and I make a lot of money, which they do, or they did, and then you just work there. The problem is it's really freezingly cold. The conditions are like really sometimes -40, but usually like -20-25 degrees. If you're not used to it, if you didn't grow up here, believe me, it can be really tough. And for like every day, like you are going after work, like you finish, you're picking maybe up your kids. Probably not, because they have their own, except like maybe your wife. So then again, you need the proper car, you need the proper wearing your clothes, you need to buy the clothes for the children, and so on. And then like you go grocery shopping, again you need to have the right proper clothing and such. So for everything that you're going out in winter time, you need proper protection from the winter. You need to think about stuff that, like for example, if you're driving to another city here, and let's say like the other big city here, Regina, it's 3 hours away over the highway, constantly driving almost straight, huge distances. If something happens there and you are off-road somewhere, you need to have like blankets and food, water, etc. With your cell phone that's working and such. People get stuck, and then sometimes overnight. So you need to be able to survive being in the car by -40, -30 degrees in the winter time. because seriously, this happens in winter times, and people are shocked. But this is what, like in language schools, when we start, the teachers are telling us all the stories because it can happen to you. So we need to be prepared. And there are like million other small things that if you live here, you forget even because you're getting used to it. But for a newcomer, they have to learn. I had to learn all those small things. And the thing is, depending on your job. Again, if you're working outside, it can be much more difficult for you. You have to think about way more many things to take care of, to be prepared. Like I mentioned before, so the health. Like for me, winter is really harsh here. Like on my health, I don't cope that as well anymore. I'm like getting close to my 40s. I'm 36 now. Sorry, 37, and already the winter really gets me. If you are from a southern country, let's say like from India, South China or coastal China, Philippines and such, or even Europe, like let's say France or Italy, like southern France or Germany, like still like it gets cold. And if you are like, let's say from Denmark, right, or North Germany and so, or England, you think, hey, I'm from a northern country, what's the big deal? It's not so different. It's way different. Like look at me, like behind me. Snow everywhere, and it's April. By the way, if you see it like here, I show you. 1 second, something really nice. See them? Dirt. All the dirt that accumulates. So in the springtime here, before everything gets really like wet. I'll show you something else. Can you see guys there? The water. See guys, how's it drizzling? Like from far away it looks not that much, but it's actually a lot of water and it's going down and down. Because all the snow from the roofs is melting, and it's like it's more than you think. It's just like one place, and in the back and in the forth, like everywhere. And suddenly like, you get wetness everywhere. So one of the problems in springtime here is everything is like dirty and brown, and nothing is green here, and then suddenly like dust. You get dust clouds, and if you're driving with the bus like I used to do with, when I went to the university, it's just terrible. The dust is like everywhere in the air, especially breathing becomes sometimes difficult in the bus, and like the city is cleaning it after a while, and then cleaning like the whole city. But it's like one other small thing you need to consider, and that you don't know, and that you won't know until you leave here. And even then, like even in the first year you don't even notice it, but in the second and third year it's like many small things that you would not consider before you come to Canada. You would not be like thinking about things like this. It's like dirt and stuff, a little bit more longer winter and such, because you thinking about immigration paper. How much do I earn? How much is the insurance? How good is the healthcare here? Which is good. Believe me, like I had to take advantage of it for the last 2 years, being sick all the time. But then you're coming here and you see way more obstacles here that you have to get through, and some people just can't because they can't handle it. And those people are not losers. Don't call them losers. Many people do, especially like when they're coming back to their home countries. The thing is, immigration is not easy. Like, this is my second country that I immigrated to. Originally I immigrated from Kazakhstan to Germany. Immigration is tough. You have to learn the new language, culture and everything. Then you have to get used to different food, what food you can't get anymore, or it's getting expensive to get it in your new country. The whole balance helping, I tell you really, one of the most difficult things to handle. Like what's this? Like I'm in the park here. See this puddle? See? Like it's way too deep for me to walk even. So this is like supposedly like it's the beginning of spring almost, but really there are tons. Like I could seriously talk for hours just about the winter, how harsh it is, how terrible, like how many things there are. And believe me, do not underestimate the winter time here. And when you are here from a foreign country, especially from a warm country, expose yourself to the winter. So don't be just stuck at home, which happens to all of us immigrants. In winter time we don't really toughen it out. We just stay in home, buckle up and go outside as little as possible. But then that's the thing, you don't learn then how difficult really winter is, and then it might take you like 2 or 3 years to realize like that maybe Canada is not for you, you know, or for your family, or that your health cannot cope with it, and that's okay that you're realizing it. This is why you have to realize it. Watch videos about the winter and read articles and such, and then when you are here, experience the winter, or do live in an area where the winter is not so harsh. That might be, for example, Vancouver area, Vancouver Island. Beautiful. Two of my cousins are living there. This is like where then you should do. Move there if you can't handle the winter. But don't let people tell you winter is not such a big deal, you can handle it, or like, hey, no problem, you will be able to handle it, you will learn how to handle it, you will get used to it. Really don't believe them, because so many times people are like arriving here and then getting upset and angry for good reasons, because then they see, hey, this, like, it's way more difficult than people told me, it's way more difficult than people see it in the videos. So be prepared, and when you're here, expose yourself, learn if you can handle it or not. It takes time, by the way, it really takes time, but you have to really know it so that you can make the decisions the best for your life and for your family, right? So thanks for watching again. See you on the next one. Take care. Bye.